I'm Chief Justice J. Bay with Allodium, Moorish, Praedium, Ante, Colorado. Our acronym is called AMPAC. You can look up more information about us on ampacgov.org. Today, I would like to talk to you about the definition of the word read. Taj Bay always tells us that people don't know how to read, and the reality is that is absolutely correct in what he says about that. So today, let's just take a look at the definition of read and just examine exactly what does it mean. Here's what I've learned about the average person. The average person just pronounces words. They do not know how to read. I'll give you an example. A lot of people use the word IQ or the acronym IQ all the time. They say I have a high IQ or low IQ. But upon examination, if you ask them, what does IQ mean? And they can't tell you the answer. So I'm asking you, what does the acronym IQ stand for? Seeing that you use it all the time. It stands for intelligence quotient. That was just a small example of the fact that a lot of people pronounce words, but they don't know the definition of the word. And if you don't understand the definition of the word, then how can you have a command over the word? Here's what I've learned about a favorite chapter and verse of mine. John chapter 1, verse 1. It says, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What does that mean? That means whoever controls the words controls its laws. It controls its land, controls the waterways and the air, because the word law is an acronym for land, air, and water. So today and in the future, I'll start to do videos based upon understanding the definition of words. That way, when we start to put together our contracts as Moorish nationals, we start understanding and commanding these words into fruition and manifesting exactly what we want out of it. That way, when we start to learn how to read, we understand how to comprehend. So let's look at the definition of the word read. Let's just start with the basics, shall we? Now, watch this. Definition of read is a verb. A verb is an action, right? 8 parts of speech, right? You have noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, interjection, conjunction, and preposition. 8 parts of speech. Very important to understand. So therefore, read is a verb. It's an action word. Well, what type of an action are we looking for? Look at and comprehend the meaning of the definition of read. It means to comprehend. Are we comprehending the word, or are we just simply pronouncing the word? Pronouncing doesn't do us any good as Moors. We must have a command of the word. Watch this. By mentally interpreting. So therefore, we must interpret the word. We must have a full command of the word, meaning not just an understanding, but an overstanding and a understanding of the word. We must have an overstanding. What else is there to understand about the definition of read? Watch this. It means to peruse, scrutinize, look through, devour. How many of us really take the time to take a word, much less a complete sentence, and truly scrutinize it, interpret it, really break it down to its true substance of that word, and when we have a complete command of it as Moors, keeping in mind that Moors are the ones who brought law to the world. So when you start understanding what these words mean, that way we can understand the word creates a sentence, the sentence creates a paragraph. That's the reason why most people who go to court end up becoming what's called sentenced. What does sentence mean by the court or by the judge? It means that words that created a sentence, the sentence is what they use to adjudicate you. All right, so we're going to start learning words. Now let's take it a step further. When you start looking at the definition of the word read, in the American Heritage Dictionary, it says to comprehend, interpret, scrutinize, having a specific level of knowledge as a result of reading. So you gain knowledge by reading. You can't gain knowledge if you don't know how to read. The average person doesn't know how to read because they just pronounce words. So we're going to stop pronouncing words, take the time to study and examine and scrutinize each word. In the etymology definition of the word read, we find it means to discern the meaning, to inspect. Now, how many of us can realistically say when we're reading words, i.e. sentences and paragraphs, that we're taking the time to get a fundamental understanding overstanding and understanding of each word that we are pronouncing. That way we know exactly what we're comprehending. Very few of us do that. So what I want to present today was starting with the fundamentals of understanding how to use words to your advantage, to understand how they use in a connotative and denotative linguistics. So again, I am Justice J. Bay with Allodium, Moorish, Praedium, Ante, Colorado, and today we went over the definition of read. That way most people start understanding the basics that if you know how to read, that means you know how to comprehend the word, you know the definition of the word, you understand its 8 parts of speech. Thank you very much, and watch the next video coming up.